feeling like I'm academics.
Stan, this is the moment, chat. This is the moment. Wow. Right, so it says, all rise. The government calls Cassandra Ventura. She takes a stand. She is extremely pregnant. AUSA Johnson starts the conversation. How old are you? Cassie says 38. Says, what is it you do for work? She says, I'm a musician and an entertainer. AUSA Johnson says, how long were you with Sean? She says 10 years. So if we're going probably 2008 to 2018. AUSA Johnson says, did you guys get in arguments? She says, yes. It would result in violence and dragging. AUSA says, what else did he do? She says, stomp me in my head if I was down. How frequently was he violent? Too frequently. I would get black eyes, bruises. AUSA Johnson says, let me show you a video. They show the LA hotel video that we've all seen. He says, where was this? Cassie says, the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. It was after a freak off. Oh, wow. Cassie herself calls this shit a freak off. I always thought this freak off thing was some colloquial made up name. Nah, they really calling this shit a freak off. Okay, damn. Says, how did you feel when he first asked for it? So they're asking about a freak off. Confused, nervous. I wanted to make him happy. AUSA then says, did you agree to one when he first proposed one? She says, yeah. Then there were more. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not frequently. She then says, I didn't know what no could turn into. AUSA then says, what do you mean? That would make him angry. The AUSA then says, what were you afraid would happen if you said no? Ventura then says, through time, he had blackmail materials. AUSA says, what did you give the government? She says, laptops. So she's admitting she turned over laptops to the government. Okay? AUSA says, I've handed up GXB. Do you recognize it? Ventura says, yes. I've reviewed this drive. It has communications and documents pertaining to Mr. Combs. They said, did you review the photos on him? She says, yes. The AUSA says, what is this photo? She says, this is a photo of me in 2004 with Kerry Morgan. Let me see if I could Google that. Kerry Morgan, Cassie, 2004. Let's see what photo this is. Is it this right here? Yeah. Okay. All right. It says, when did you sign with Bad Boy Records? She says in 2006. It was a 10-album deal. Did you release anything after late 2006? No. Who's in this photo? Kim Porter. So they show her a picture of Kim Porter. It says, she was Sean's ex before me and the mother of his children. By the way, interestingly enough, we don't really see how they refer to Diddy. Everybody refers to Diddy that's gotten on a stand as Mr. Combs. You could tell the familiarity that Cassie has with Diddy. She starts calling him Sean. You get what I'm saying? AUSA then says, where did you celebrate your birthday in this photo? So they're just showing her photo after photo. She says in Las Vegas. Kerry Morgan was there too. We're out on his patio on my 21st birthdays. VMAs. And the AUSA says, what happened then? Sean kissed me in the bathroom. I ran back to my hotel. I told Kerry. When you got back to New York, so it looked like that might have been one of the first time they met. I don't know. What? Was it? Why would she run back to her hotel to tell her friend that Diddy kissed her? Whatever. Okay. It says, when you got back to New York, it says, I'd visit him in the Trump Hotel in Columbus Circle. His apartment was being renovated. The AUSA then says, what were you doing with your music career? She says, trying to come up with a concept. Sean called all the shots. What's the age difference between you and Sean? 17 years. How did you feel when Sean invited you to hotels? Nervous? Excited? I thought we were going to talk about music. He introduced me to oral sex. I didn't understand it. Damn. Holy. The AUSA says, did you visit Sean in Miami? Yes. I went with Kerry Morgan in Dallas, Austin. What did you and Sean do together? Sexual intercourse. He gave me a blue dolphin ecstasy on a boat. Had you once taken ecstasy unintentionally? Yes. How did you take ecstasy unintentionally? She's like, it was Gatorade. Ooh. Maybe this is where the drug is going to come in, Chad. When you took it intentionally with Sean, how did it feel? Like I was rolling. At the time, what did you think? I just thought we were spending a lot of time together. I thought we were monogamous. Was it made public? No, I was his artist. Also, he had a family and his children who was linked to him publicly. That's what the AUSA asked. Ventura then brings up, yeah, Kim Porter. So how did Sean treat you at this time? So we had fun. Oh, shit. Then it says, what was his lifestyle like? He had all these assistants. He could get things done. He traveled quite a bit. What's this photo right here? That was Sean and I at the strip club, like maybe 2007, 2008. Halloween. It says, how did Sean's mood vary? So even the AUSA now is taking on this term of calling Diddy Sean rather than Mr. Combs. So how does his mood vary day to day? Oh, I guess Cassandra probably said day to day. AUSA then says, well, when it swung, could you describe it? Ventura says, well, anger, zoning out. Then they say, how did it impact you? She says, greatly. The next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. There were also psychological abuse. He told me to watch my mouth, change my face. Oh, shit. How would he keep tabs on you? Ventura says, we didn't live far apart. He'll send security to come find me. Or a trusted assistant. Like who? David James, Christina Karam. By the way, we keep hearing this. We all think that this person would be seen as a co-conspirator. By the way, we have no idea if they're going to be, they're not charged, but we don't know if they have taken a profit with the government or they're going to be testifying against Diddy, but I would say no. Remember, that person was the one sitting in the bathrobe with Diddy on Star Island while he was getting investigated for all of this. AUSA says, was your relationship exclusive? She says, no. Okay. We're waiting for more updates, but Cassie is on the stand currently, chat. Whoa. Explosive. Let me see how they were walking in this morning. So I'm opening up. Okay. So, yeah, she's testified that she was scared to say no. By the way, here's the thing. I had seen it. Oh, fuck. There was some more details yesterday. I don't know if I can find it. It's Philip Diddy. So, again, my man who's in court tweeting, he's not getting every word. He's a fast tweeter, but he's not getting every word. So, there are other outlets, and that's why at the end of the day, we got to look to other people to kind of like fill in the gaps because there's a lot of things that are missed. So we did see this yesterday. So this is a sex worker in Cassie. Apparently, and again, this is kind of like, if you ask me, remember, I'm not in court. I'm not seeing, by the way, they also said Cassie started crying. Okay. So I don't even think he tweeted that yet. But apparently Cassie has started, they said 10 minutes in, she started bawling. Cassie crying. They said 10 minutes in, she's already crying. Wait, fuck. Oh my God, hold on. Cassandra. I forgot that they ain't gonna shorten her name. What the hell? Where did I see that? I saw that somewhere. Maybe I saw it through Inner City Press. Give me 1 second. Anyway, we're waiting on the next tweet. I'm trying to see how people showed up to court, even though I'll wait till it's lunchtime and we don't have constant updates. But I'm going to recap what happened yesterday with this guy, Daniel Phillips, because he said some really other interesting things that we missed yesterday just only reading tweets, right? So remember, he's getting paid between $700 and $6,000. Combs watched while he masturbated, but also he had his own relationship with her because, you know, she would request things from him that he didn't know if Combs was asking for. So, for example, he would also text her on one-on-one basis. She opened the door, asked if he was okay. Oh, here we go. Philip believed. Okay, this is the first time. Give me 1 second. He did not recognize Combs. Okay, let's keep going down a little bit. Combs would tell them to rub more baby oil on each other and tell them where and when to ejaculate. God damn it. Y'all remember that Dave Chappelle joke where it'd be like, yo, women are too controlling. Y'all probably know. It's an infamous Dave Chappelle stand-up. And he's like, yo, bitches are too controlling. It's like, yo, tell me where to come, not when to come. You get what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all might be too young for that. But it's an infamous stand-up. I can't remember which one. Let me open up the chats. I haven't even opened up chats yet. Let me open up chat. Somebody on the King Akademiks page will know what we're talking about. But apparently Diddy's in the back telling them where and when to come. You feel what I'm saying? He was always sitting in the corner masturbating. Though he added out on occasion, Combs would switch places with him and engage in sexual intercourse with her. On one occasion, Ventura asked him to urinate on her. Rarely did they use condom. In these encounters, it would last any time from 1 to 10 hours. After sex with Ventura, she would go into the bedroom with Combs and leave him waiting on the couch for hours. Sometimes they would come back out, tell him to leave, and other times they would bring him into the bedroom for another round of intercourse. So this guy was just like literally paid dick. Yo, it looks like maybe Diddy would watch Cassie get fucked. He's jerking off in a corner, and then basically Diddy would bring her. I guess it would be in a. These happen at hotels. So if you think about these guys are rich, so you got to think about a presidential suite or the biggest suite in most hotels. You're gonna have like a living room area, or sometimes you might have 2 rooms, right? I gotta imagine they have the fuck spot, which might be in the living room or whatever, and then they go in the bedroom, and it appears that the dude would fuck Cassie. Diddy's in the corner just jerking off. Then Diddy would take her into the room and go cuddle with her for hours or something. I don't know. This is whatever. Here we go. Sometimes they would come back and tell him to leave, and other times they would bring him into the bedroom for another intercourse. They said Combs videotaped him having sex with Ventura once or twice on a cell phone and a camcorder. He pretended to come. One time he pretended to come after Combs instructed him to nut. He's like, nut in her. You know what I mean? This is some Vince McMahon shit right here. Like, nut in her. That's what I'm thinking this is going down. There's no player way to tell a nigga to nut your bitch, right? There's no player way. What voice do you think this nigga Diddy had going on? It's after Combs brought Ventura into the bedroom, he repeatedly questioned Philip if he was sure he came. So he kept asking, nigga, you sure you nutted, nigga? Nigga, yo, I'm done if Diddy's like, yo, nigga, show me your dick. Show me your dick, nigga. You sure you nutted my bitch, nigga? Nigga, show me your dick, nigga. Come here. Come here. Let me see if them balls are still full. Nah, hell nah. This shit going crazy. This nigga Diddy was pressing that nigga. You this is crazy. Yo, it said their interactions became more and more intense after Combs took a picture off the driver's license and said it was just for insurance, just in case. So I understand that was supposed to be threatening me, okay? Many of his objections were overruled by the judge. Donaldson was trying to object. This was when the AUSA was crossing. One point that Combs allegedly offered Philip MDMA or Molly, which he said he never took drugs, but he made him immediately feel sick, nauseous, but he felt euphoric. He left that night with a wad of cash. Still under influence, he began roaming the city. Oh, that's what we missed. So he got paid thousands of dollars to fuck Cassie. And you know what I've noticed, chat? It looks like, you know, it said the range of money he would get paid was from $700 to $6,000. Why that range? I think the more he did or more he had to tolerate. Because sometimes he may have went there, he had to fuck Cassie for maybe 1 hour, up to 10 hours, but he might have seen some shit too. He might have seen Diddy give her a right hook, you know what I mean? Or seen Diddy do some wild shit. So you could tell he was not only getting paid, and of course I'm inferring right here, I'm putting my own opinion in, but he wasn't only getting paid just to slang dick. Looks like he was also getting paid to just like, yo, keep this shit discreet. Shut up. Whatever you seen, if I slap the fuck out of her, shut up about it. So apparently he says after he took this goddamn MDMA, he went to Times Square and he gave out all the money. So they gave him extra bread that day, right? They probably gave him extra bread because they're like, damn, this fool is drugged out. Like, because he probably acted a fool off of the Molly. He said he went to Times Square and he gave out all the money. This nigga slang dick for free and gave it away. This nigga like the Robin Hood of Times Square. He fucked for the bread and gave it away for free. Shit. So he ain't care about the money that Ventura and Combs gave. Said it was exciting to be around famous people. At one point, he started beginning to witness Combs physically abuse her. One time he saw Combs throw a glass bottle in her direction, then hit her and drag her by her hair into another room. She was screaming and pulled her into the bedroom. He said, I could hear what sounded like him slapping her. She was screaming, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Philip said Combs said to her, bitch, when I tell you to come, you come now, not later. Now I'm thinking about this in a different mindset. I'm wondering if he's shouting this at her. Maybe come isn't when I tell you to come over. It's when I tell you to come. Like, body function come. You better come. Like, yo, Cassie, come right now on this nigga dick. Come on his face. He's in your pussy. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay. I was shocked. It came out of nowhere. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. When he asked why he didn't interview or call the police, said, in my mind, if I try to do something to stop it, I might lose my life. He added that my thoughts were Combs was with someone with a limited power. My life was at risk. He started witnessing the abuse. He said he had difficulty staying hard in the presence of Combs. Once or twice, Combs gave him Cialis, which treats erectile dysfunction. So Diddy was just like, nigga, your dick ain't working today? All right, hold on. Pop one of these, nigga. Pop a Viagra, nigga. We need that shit rock hard. I bet. Philip said that on occasions in which he could not sexually perform, he was not paid. He detailed another incident at the Essex Hotel where he heard loud screaming and slapping noise from behind the bedroom doors. He then vacated the hotel, so he just left, Combs left, leaving Philip alone with Cassie. According to Philip, Ventura jumped into his lap and began crying and kissing him. Interesting. Which she had never done during any previous encounter. Philip asked Ventura why she was staying in an abusive relationship, and she insisted she was okay. The two of them began having sex. Philip did not have any trouble performing then. So basically, he's saying, he's kind of giving this idea. He said, yo, I was always creeped out. This nigga Diddy's a creep. It's hard for me to stay hard while this nigga is, like, you can imagine this nigga just, like, Diddy, damn, nigga, calm down, nigga. What the fuck? Calm down, boy. Like, this nigga that's behind you be like, yo, nigga, if you shoot your come over here, nigga, we don't have to fight, nigga. What the hell? Like, Diddy moaning in the back and shit like that. Take that. All type of fucker going on with Diddy. Of course, I get why he can't stay hard. Nigga, my shit can't get hard because you too hard, nigga. The fuck you doing, Diddy? God damn it. Diddy over there jacking off so much he throw his toothpick in the fucking action. This nigga Diddy, man. Holy shit, I bet. Oh, chat, this is crazy. Yo, I wouldn't be able to stay hard neither. You just hear this thing. Yo, Diddy, could you chill, nigga? Oh, shit. While they had intercourse, they noticed Mr. Combs sneaking back in the room. Yo, Diddy is... Yo, I don't want to use certain words because, again, this is a criminal trial, but Diddy's sick in the way of his kinks. I don't want to say he's doing anything illegal yet. But the nigga beat her ass. It's almost like role play for him. Think about this. He beat her ass. He storms out of the freak off room. She's all emotional. She's like, oh my God, Sean just beat me. She jumps in the prostitute's like lap, starts making out with them. Oh my God. The dude's like, why are you with this guy still? Remember, he couldn't get hard earlier. Now his shit rock hard. I ain't gonna lie, chat. One in the chat. All my real niggas gonna put one. Anytime a bitch start crying on your shoulder, especially when they ain't yo bitch, man, your shit is rock hard now, nigga. She crying over another nigga who done fucked her over. It's time for you to fuck her. So, yeah, that he has no trouble performing now. Creep ass Diddy. You imagine just hearing that squeaky noise. Diddy probably poked his head like, oh, there's some fucking going on in here. Hold on. Let me get back up in my corner. Oh, Diddy snuck back in the room to watch. Diddy snuck back in the room. Yo, I would have snuck back in the room and said, what the fuck is y'all doing? Y'all are fucking and I'm not here. He snuck back and said, oh, this is what I'm talking about. Yo, Diddy on some shit. One time at Ventura's home, Combs invited another male sex worker who ended up getting a verbal altercation with Combs, and he accused him of looking at him during a threesome. After he accused So Diddy didn't like these niggas looking at him. He said, look at her, nigga. Look at her, nothing her. Just don't look at me. Chat, I know we're ad-libbing here. And by the way, we're waiting on tweets. So, I'm just giving y'all a little color commentary. Is one in the chat, and by the way, we got to make sure we do our polls. Make sure our polls are good in every place we're doing this. Does this give a slight of I'm not gay no more type vibes? Whereas like, it feels like a thin veil of Diddy kind of getting his homoerotic fetishes off, but not being confronted about it, and just kind of have like, because some people would say, no, this is just him liking live porn. But no, it feels like he was really caring about these men. Like, yo, my nigga, let me see your dick. Did you finish? Yo, bruv. Like, come on. Like, it felt, some of this kind of, and the reason why I bring that up is that he sets the stage for this kinky, like, threesome, cuck-like thing, but it gives him the best excuse where you can't be like, he's gay, and he protests on some other shit. Like, he gets in an argument with the guy when the guy looks at him. It's like, nah, nigga, what the fuck? I told you to fuck my bitch, not look at me, nigga. What the hell? Anyway, Philip was never paid for sex before meeting Combs and hasn't been paid for sex since. When he asked why he continued to meet up with him, in the courtroom he said that he considered Cassie a friend and wanted to check up on her, and he feared that Combs might, whatever. All right, cool. So, by the way, which I think today Diddy's lawyers kind of showed it was much more than that, right? You weren't only checking up on her. You and her kind of had your own relationship. You said to the prosecutors, you wish you would have been with her, or you could have been with her. So you were romantically involved, or you were fucking her under the advice or the direction of Diddy, but you and her were starting to have this like intimate relationship where you got jealous of Diddy, even though Diddy was paying you to fuck her. So Diddy's lawyers did a good job of putting that out there to show that this guy might have some motive of him spinning the story where Diddy's the monster. You start liking this girl. So the guy who's now making her fuck you and you feel like he's being abusive, keep in mind what Diddy's team did. They did it off the top. And if they didn't do this off the top, it would be a big problem. They admitted, hey, Diddy beats his bitch. Diddy was always liable to backhand a hoe. I'm sorry, I hate to use those words, but that's what it is. They're admitting that. But they're saying this ain't a domestic violence case. If it was a domestic violence case, it would be charging whatever that would be charged in LA for the continental intercontinental hotel. They're saying this is sex trafficking. So they're down with all of these allegations of Diddy putting hands on Cassie. They just want to show that's not what forced Cassie to continue or participate in this type of behavior. Okay? And that's where the sex trafficking, because you gotta show sex trafficking by fraud or coercion or threats of violence. You get what I'm saying? And we're not seeing, even the sex worker didn't say, Cassie's saying it now. We're gonna get back to Cassie in 1 second. But the sex worker never said, yeah, I heard him say to Cassie, if you don't fuck him, I'm going to fuck you up. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's pause there real quick and then let's run back to the Cassie trial or the Cassie situation. We're going to play this as well after. Here we go. Cool. Here we go, child. They should be breaking for lunch shortly. All right, here we go. Here we go, people. Okay. So how would he keep tabs on you? Remember, we're seeing this Christina Karam name now. By the way, I seen somebody put a picture of her. This is Christina Karam. She was there with Diddy while this was all being investigated. So I wonder if she'll play any part in this proceeding. AUSA says, did you see other men? Okay, so they're asking if she was a cheater, right? She said, yes. Did Sean see other women? She said, yes. He told me, I am Puff Daddy, and I was insanely jealous. AUSA says, did you move to LA with him? She says, yes. He wanted to be close to his kids who were there. AUSA says, where did you live in LA? She says, 875 Comstock Avenue. You know me. I'm so nosy. I'm so nosy. It's my turn. Imagine Diddy screaming that from a cuck chair, bro. Crazy. Ooh. Oh, these are nice ass apartments. Holy. Oh, this is where Cassie lived at? Man, there's a lot of fucking happening up in here. Holy. You remember that show on MTV back in the day where they used to like raid your room and they got to go through the blue light? They'd be like, yo, this mad semen up in this shit. What the fuck? Yo, you go through this shit, man. You just got to put the blue lights everywhere. Like, there's a lot of fucking that went up in here. Holy, okay. Cassie was living all right. How many bedrooms is this? This has got to be a building, though. This kind of looks cool. All right, whatever. All right. So how tall was the building? She said no more than 17 floors. Where does Sean live? Sean lived at 200 South Mapleton. Damn. You see, this is going to be a problem for Diddy. This chick got a good fucking memory. She know the exact address. Oh, they blurred it out here. It's Diddy's house. Ooh, yeah, you can see it. It's a big-ass house right here. Yeah, this is the house they raided, I think. Yup. This is the house they raided. It's on Zillow, actually, right now. $61 million. $61 million. Diddy did say he was going to sell this bitch. Beautiful house. Yo, I think, where's the backyard? They used to put like a big-ass bed. Like, Diddy was giving us signs all along, right? Like, he used to have parties here, and in the backyard, he would have like a huge bed that everybody used to be on. It's like he was telling niggas like, y'all never seen him? I know y'all niggas seen it. Stop capping. Diddy was telling us the signs all along, man. Diddy backyard bed. What the fuck? Yo, when you plan the party and be like, yo, Diddy, what you want us to have in the backyard like decorations? Nigga, fuck them decorations. Nigga, just put a big-ass bed, nigga. Fuck that. Fuck that shit, man. Look at this nigga right here. This nigga just had a big-ass bed. It's like this nigga was like, yo, just in case, how many people we invite? 200? I know niggas ain't in a 200-person freak-off. Like, just put the bed there. Let's see what happens. Just put the big bed there. He ain't get this shit from IKEA, did he? IKEA got some shit like this? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, nah. A 50-foot bed? I see why he needed 1,000 baby oils now. Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all was thinking it was tripping at first. It ain't that wild. Sean would use a golf cart to get back and forth. Yeah, that crib is big. Who paid your rent in LA? They said, well, Sean did. Except I had a house in Studio City. Why'd you pay that? He said I could afford it then. And I wanted to have some control. And it was accepted. By whom? By Sean. So she basically said Diddy paid for one place, which is the apartment she was living in. But she had a house in Studio City. And the reason why she wanted to have both is that she didn't want to be completely controlled by him. Interesting. Holy shit. All right, we're waiting on the we're waiting on the next tweet. We do have it. It says, how many songs did you write while you were with Sean? Ventura says hundreds. Most of them never got released. Some got leaked on the internet. Some on mixtapes. So how many albums on your deal who were not released? 9. So I think she dropped one album. That's it. Did you get paid for them? Nope. It says the freak-offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else. Oh, that's Cassie. The freak-offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else. But to do them, then try to recover. It says, how much time in your week would the freak-offs take up? The longest was like 4 days, but it would take up significant periods of time. The judge says we're going to break there, but Cassie's admitting that she has had 4-day-long freak-offs. And she basically admitted that recorded music took a backdrop to the amount of fucking they were doing. That's crazy. She said the freak-offs became the job. Yo, she got signed for 9 albums, nigga. And she got signed for 10 albums, dropped 1 album. Nigga. Diddy's a cold nigga, man. He had her with 9 dicks in her mouth. She thought she was going to drop albums. He ain't dropping a motherfucking thing. God damn. All right. I did see something about her tearing up. Let me see if I can find that. By the way, let me play this real quick.
City Press here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. in Lower Manhattan. Today, Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. It's day 2 for real after the jury selection of the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial. Yesterday, we covered it in great detail. The jury selection in which the juror from the UN made it on, despite his claims to have that his office of counterterrorism doesn't work with U.S. law enforcement. It's not credible. But then there were the opening statements, hammering hard, hammering hard. Tenny Garagos did it for the defense, among their 9 lawyers. And she said this is about private personal conduct and that he may be a terrible person, but it's not a federal RICO charge. The government hammered away, saying you're going to hear from Jane, Cassie, Mia. And then the witnesses began. There was first the LAPD officer who went to the 6th floor among the famous kicking incident. And it turns out that he filmed his own version of the security camera footage and preserved it for, he was going to just show his wife, but he preserved it for eternity. Now, the cross-examination of him was done by Brian Steele, who tried to point out various inconsistencies of things that he hadn't put in his written report at the time, but only remembered later while speaking to the prosecutors. It wasn't a bad cross at all. Coming off his young thug work, score 1 for Brian Steele. Now, the next witness was I called him Male Dancer, but his last name was Philip, not with an S. And this is where it got pretty gruesome. Not gruesome. I mean, yes, gruesome. He was invited up and began to perform. But he stopped being able to perform once he saw the violence, he said. He was a kind of a compelling character in a way. Now, the defense chose to have Xavier Donaldson, who I like and know quite well. I mean, I cover him more than these other lawyers because he's on the CJA panel and represents many criminal defendants here in SDNY as appointed counsel. He's taken a kind of his first line of attack was to try to say that the male escort or exotic dancing firm of Mr. Phillip gamed SEO, so he must be a fraudster. That's not really going far. He didn't finish his cross, and it's going to begin today. And we're coming up on the courthouse. You're going to see the madness in front. So we'll see what he does. And today is going to be the day of Cassie Ventura. So this is a longer than normal intro, but it's a case that we're covering in great detail. Now, we're also covering the crypto beat, among many others. And yesterday there was a development. Ever since this Todd Blanche memo in April, crypto prosecutions have
file this public abuse. My wife, for what purpose? I mean, that was a little strange.
Well, you're not going to believe this happened, even though he didn't report it to the police.
I think it's going to be difficult. I think the defense would like you to believe that video's been doctored somehow, but I think they're going to have trouble sustaining that.
Hey, would you like a civil law question?
Yes, please.
Yes, this is our litigator here. Question from Teodora Bodurova. Can
Give me 1 second,
Cassie
Ted.
sue Diddy again if Diddy's found guilty as charged?
So, Cassie, if you remember, sued Diddy. And that was the first thing we really heard about this. That was before the video. There was this blockbuster lawsuit in November of 2023 that really put these allegations out there. And she was very detailed. In fact, the front page of her lawsuit had a trigger warning on it. It was so detailed. That case was settled the next day. And I would have to think that the settlement included an agreement that she wouldn't sue him again for anything. Usually, if you're going to settle like that and pay the kind of money she would have gotten paid for settling that lawsuit, you get what is known as a general release. And a general release means you don't sue me for anything that happened. Now, here's one caveat. Up to the date of this agreement. Up to the date of this agreement. So then if you the next day punch me in the face, I have a new lawsuit against you.
Yeah.
Right? But at least up to the agreement, she can't go back now and say, I want more money.
Well, for the same conduct, right? I mean, if he comes out and he did something to her, or allegedly did something to her after the agreement was signed.
Yeah. Presumably they got it. And it also, you have to make sure the release covers all of his companies, all of these other individuals who were involved. It has to be a general release of everybody. You don't want to leave any wiggle room to have a lawsuit.
We have a follow-up question to this from Fads. So why did he settle if he was innocent?
Well, I mean, people settle all the time when they think they're not liable. People, With the thing that really surprised me when that case was filed is that the case was filed. Typically in a case like that, you draft the complaint and you send it to the defendant and you say, "Dear sir, please pay me a boatload of money or I'm going to file this publicly in court." And if there's any merit to it, or if just for publicity reasons, the defendant decides to negotiate and pay, and it never goes to court. So it fascinated me at the time that she actually filed that publicly and he settled it the next day. That unfortunately was pretty telling, that he didn't put up any fight on the lawsuit. He didn't even want to litigate it. He didn't even want to go to discovery. He wanted to settle it immediately.
And if he would have settled it before she filed it, I think we would have been in a very different position than we are today.
Oh, I totally agree, because that lawsuit, I think, is what sets this ship sailing.
I agree. Okay, update from court. Prosecutor asks Cassandra Ventura, "Did you see other men?" Cassandra Ventura responds, "Yes." Prosecutor asks, "Did Sean see other women?" Ventura responds, "Yes. He said, 'I am Puff Daddy. I was insanely jealous.'" "Did you move to LA with him?" "Yes. He wanted to be close to his kids who were there." It goes to a theme from yesterday, where the defense owned up and said, yeah, he's jealous, he's angry, he's violent. He engaged in domestic violence. That 2016 video is indefensible. When you hear her testify like that, does it help the defense? Does it help the prosecution? Because the defense got in front of it. They didn't say he's a saint.
Well, it helps the prosecution, but the defense did the correct thing in opening statement, and they had to do it. They didn't have any choice. I mean, the defense couldn't walk into this trial and say he's the victim of a conspiracy to invent evidence against him. That was never going to work. The thing's on video, and there's lots of other evidence. So they were going to have to say he is not a delightful guy. You people on the jury probably aren't going to like things that he did. He did engage in things we consider domestic violence, but this is a racketeering case. And I liked that about the opening statement. They made that very clear. You're going to have to judge the crimes alleged here, not whether you like him or dislike him.
And look, I think the defense
Okay, perfect. That was great. That was a great mute, right? Okay. So, how do I do this all the time, right? I know y'all like, yo, how does this guy stream and do this every single time? Sorry. All right. No, what I'm saying is that, so Diddy's strategy is very clear. It's very clear. Yo, yes, I used to whip some of these bitches' ass. No lie. But I never sex trafficked these women, okay? They tolerated the abuse because they were getting some shit out of it. Yes, I wasn't the best person. However, I was not someone who was sex trafficking and doing whatever. And a RICO for sex trafficking, that sounds major. We thinking about people just being in a truck. Like you just grab a bunch of women, put them in a truck, and bring them to another state just for them to get fucked. So what ends up happening is that Diddy he admitted to the beatings, but this is not a domestic violence case. This is not about Diddy just physically assaulting women. It's about him sex trafficking women, right? So they admit the beatings, but they're saying no to the sex trafficking. Also, because they're admitting the beatings, this is why Diddy submitted that motion or was arguing in pretrial to be able to argue. And I'm wondering who the lawyer is, but they probably have a bunch of experts they're going to try to bring into this. Remember, Diddy submitted this motion to say, hey, I'm not pleading insanity, but I was mentally incapacitated during this whole time. I was drunk. I was high all the time. I was going through deep depression, and my mental state wasn't as someone who was normal and insane mind. Now, that doesn't mean, because he's not pleading insanity is almost like pretty much, it's tantamount to like a guilty plea. Say, yeah, I did this shit, but I wasn't in my right mind. He's not saying he did it. He's just saying, I want to introduce this argument that, and it's to humanize him because he's admitting the beatings. He's going to be like, yeah, my mood and me beating these women were because, yeah, I was going through a lot. I was drunk all the time. My mood was all over the place. I was going through depression. Again, he's not charged for the beatings, but he needs to humanize himself because you never know how the jury might look at it. The jury might be like, well, if you beat their ass, you did the rest of the shit. You get what I'm saying? So they're going to have at some point, and this is going to be under the defense team. So clearly Diddy's defense team, whenever the prosecution rests, they're going to bring in some mental experts. I think they even argued about some of the experts that would be qualified to come in that are going to then try to say, hey, his behavior, even though violent, isn't a sex trafficker, but it's someone who went through years of untreated substance abuse, bipolar disorder, never recovering. By the way, also, here's the thing, too. Remember, they've mentioned Kim Porter a decent amount. Even on cross, they're going to say there was traumatic mental effects from Kim Porter passing away. All of these things are going to matter. You get what I'm saying? So it's clear what Diddy's defense seemingly is going to be. We're waiting for some outside the courtroom stuff. I wanted to see like videos. I know TMZ had them earlier of like people walking into the courthouse and this and third. I wanted to see if there was maybe a video of Cassie walking into the courthouse. Looked like they may have brought her in through a separate entrance. We haven't seen any videos of her, period. Let me look around. If you guys see any videos of people entering the courtroom or leaving the courtroom, please do let me know. Let me go live on this shit to see. Okay, they're waiting for people to come outside. Okay.
But jurors try not to express emotion. They try to stay straight-faced. They're not there reacting the same way you and I would if we were watching some testimony on television. So it is very hard to do, but you can sometimes, and you certainly try to.
Question from Slaytan. To what extent might Cassie Ventura's visible pregnancy influence jurors' emotional response and perception of her credibility? Will that have an impact on the jurors without them knowing?
I think it could. I mean, again, that's something that could cut both ways. I mean, in one sense, a juror could say, well, it appears that she's moved on and she has a life and she has a family, and actually she seems to have come out of this okay. And that could be something that a jury could consider. It also, I think jurors have some sympathy for pregnancy, and it makes them like the witness a little better.
We have another question from Angelina. Who is Diddy's lawyer? He's got a lot of lawyers.
Right.
So he's got Xavier Donaldson. He's got Mark Agnifilo, Tenny Garrett.
Chat, what do y'all think about this idea? And I think this is going to be profound, right? Like, now, me particularly, and I don't know where you fall on the issue, I believe both were legal, and if it was consenting, obviously she's saying it wasn't consensual, at least some parts of it, but I guess initially, it was consensual. I don't know. This idea of the 17-year age gap, right? It's been made a thing of in this trial. I do think it's being put out there to kind of affect the thinking of the jury to kind of show, hey, this guy was bringing this young girl into a lifestyle she knew nothing about. And they even accentuate it when on the stand they get Cassie to admit. Cassie admits that Diddy introduced her to oral sex. It's like that kind of sounds crazy. Like, damn, she wasn't even sucking dick. So you was over here coaching her to suck dick too? This is crazy, bro. This is crazy, dog. Now, knowing Diddy, he probably was coaching her to suck somebody else's dick. But regardless, that probably is going to affect how the jury is kind of processing all this detail. Okay, cool. Y'all are legal despite 17 years, but the 17 years kind of matters now because she wasn't even sucking dick when you start getting with her. So you want us to think, right? Remember, this is the idea that Diddy wants to get out is like, nah, she was a freak just like me. Well, she's admitting she never sucked cock before Diddy. Diddy introduced her to oral sex. So I think the jury's going to look at them and be like, well, it looked like even if she did get to the level of freakiness that you were at, you pretty much, like, you created this person. Like, you're the one who did that. And maybe you did it in a way that is sex trafficking in a way. And you know, because again, the thing with sex trafficking is it's all about, you know, the use or movement of women for the purpose of sexual intercourse with promise of some type of, you know, either financial compensation and usually through the means of force, fraud, coercion, or something of the sort, okay? It's kind of like a really intricate way how they kind of describe it, but that's how they're trying to connect that to say, yo, he gets this young girl, she don't even suck dick, he turns her into this super freaked out sex robot, he promises her a career, 10 albums, she drops one, never drops another album, she says she got 200 songs in the stash, he don't drop none of them, he's constantly giving her a case of the beats, giving her a WWE SmackDown. Like, shit is going crazy. Essentially, she's sex trafficked. So that's what they're kind of trying to say, right? Okay, all right. Let me see. There's a few other things also continuing to happen. There's a few other things. Now, I'm going to assume they will ask about the P. They will ask about the P. Now, here's the funny thing. While we're waiting, if another video feed, I think they just went their own break. We do want to see the outside of the courtroom stuff. Could we see it? Anybody? No one outside the courtroom? Okay. Is it this? No. Okay, nothing outside the courtroom yet. If anyone has an outside the courtroom feed right now, just let me know. I'll put that on the screen. What's interesting to know, Cassie and Ryan Leslie. So if you don't know the story about Cassie, Cassie was supposedly the girlfriend of Ryan Leslie first. This is a meeting in 2006. How old was Cassie in 2006? How old was Cassie in 2006? Cassie was 20 years old, okay? So before she started sucking dick and doing all this freak shit, not saying sucking dick's freak shit, but, you know, she's basically saying really sex, or at least sex to that standard Diddy introduced her to. She was with Ryan Leslie. Now, this is when they had a meeting. So this whole time, this meeting's a farce, okay? Diddy wanted Cassie. Diddy knew Ryan Leslie had Cassie. He basically had that nigga bring Cassie like, we're going to have a fake label meeting. And then he just started getting cool with her outside of the presence of Ryan Leslie. And then basically she chose up, and then it is what it is afterwards, no?
I wanted to get us all together so we could get this, everybody can hear from me how focused and excited I am about the project. I wanted, you know, Cassie to, everybody to meet Cassie. Y'all don't know that. And hear the story directly from Mao. And then really get down to some business about, just so we can be on the same page of what the plan is, as far as from Tommy's concerned, and from we're concerned as also a label and Warner Atlantic, so everybody's on the same page. I think the best thing to do is to kind of give an overview or a history of how we came to the project. Can't know where we're going unless we know where we came from. Ryan is a producer that I've been working with for the last 2 years. That was brought to me by Ed Woods, who Ryan is signed to their label, and also as a producer, and has done some stuff for the label. And somebody's like one of my go-to people. New act that just needed records right away. Somebody that can go in the trenches, musical genius.
Now, Ryan Leslie spoke about.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Ryan Leslie, aka.
He spoke about Cassie leaving him for Diddy after she signed to Bad Boy.
Less represent. You know, it was she was close to everything that I loved. You know what I mean? So, music is just something that I love. And she's clearly just, you know, when two people have that much personal interaction and time, they spend that much time together, it's inevitable that a strong personal bond is going to be formed. And the type of chemistry that we had, musically and personally, the relationship that we had was inevitable.
So you guys had some sort of romantic relationship during that time?
He's going in, right?
I mean, you know, that's pretty much how how you answer the question.
Yeah,
you're not denying the fact you had a romantic relationship.
I'll say I love Cassie. I love her. You know what I mean? And you know, I fell in love with her. I fell in love with the music. I fell in love with her family, and everything that it took. You know, for two young people in New York City hustling together, it was inevitable that we be in love. You know what I'm saying?
Now, at what point sort of rift that happened to you? Because from what I understand, you don't talk to Cassie as much as you used to.
Right.
Is this true?
Yeah, that's 100% true.
So, was there a situation where a rift happened, you know, between you two? Was it anything that you could pinpoint?
I mean, there's definitely...
That's early Vlad, by the way. That's Vlad.
a lot of factors, a lot of situations,
This shit looked like it was recorded on VHS tape, bro. Don't it?
Nuances that I could pinpoint, but I don't feel comfortable talking about them publicly because they involve, you know, people and involve situations that, you know, to this point really don't have anything to do with my professional career. You know what I mean? Well, they don't have anything to do with my current professional career. So I don't feel comfortable talking about them, and you know, I don't think any of the people involved would feel comfortable about me talking about it. You know, so I wouldn't do it unless I could make some phone calls and say, "Hey."
Yo, chat, don't it come across like he's scared of Diddy? Like, this is way back. It's like, man, I don't want to talk about this shit, man.
Hey, I'm on Vlad TV right now. Do you have any problem with me airing some of this stuff out? I'm sure they would probably respond and say, you know what, homie, I would have a problem with you airing some of that stuff out. But yes, I do believe that there are some specific, moments, specific discussions, specific moments in time, specific disputes, specific characters.
Bro, he is watching his words. And I understand why. Niggas getting dangled off the balcony. By the way, tell me why I just seen this again. They said Wale had to deny again that he got dangled off the balcony. Wale denied his dangling balcony. Remember, Diddy was running around. Diddy thought he was Tupac. That nigga Diddy thought he was Tupac, bro.
Your name was brought up in something with the Diddy situation.
Why are you asking me about that stuff?
I was going to say, to clear it up, you weren't involved in it.
I never got in an altercation with that man.
Yeah.
I've never been in an altercation with nobody in the industry.
Yeah.
I've had close calls, but not him. Definitely. Like, that, it was made up by somebody who was just trolling and it just went.
Yeah, I know you were, because when they throw people's names in it, when you have nothing to do with it, I know that's like.
It's a.
Dangling a nigga over the balcony is diabolical, bro.
It's a topic to go, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, no.
Yo, why wouldn't everybody talk about Diddy? It's like, you can see the uncomfortability. It's like, yo, bro, what's going on in here?
That played into this,
Yo, this nigga's saying a lot but saying nothing at the same damn time.
The dynamic change that has
Yo, even Vlad looking at him like, yo, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Look at Vlad's face like, yo, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about, nigga?
That went down.
Now, Cassie still signed to you.
Yes, she's still signed the next election.
And her deal is through Puff.
Yeah.
So was there any sort of strain, the fact that she is, kind of seen with Puff a lot and they have some sort of relationship in terms of, like that sort of, triangle kind of approach where, you guys had a relationship, you're signed to Puff, she's seen out with Puff. I mean, does that create some sort of strain in your personal life?
Well, I think that as a human being, right? It's just some of these questions like they were.
Yo, this nigga stuttering worse than Flacco, me. Add everybody up in the mix. This nigga stuttering like a yo. Diddy was really the guy, huh?
To me that they would have obvious answers. You know what I mean? Just if you were to put yourself in my position as a human being, right? And so there are definitely some. There are and.
Yo, this dude ain't saying nothing for the last 2 minutes. Not one sentence finished.
There were definitely those moments and instances.
Yo, he's not saying nothing. Listen to this chat.
Sort of, triangle kind of approach where, you guys had a relationship, you're signed to Puff, she's seen out with Puff. I mean, does that create some sort of strain in your personal life?
Okay, so the question is there a strain in your personal life? That's your girl, but Diddy keep being seen out with her, and she's signed to Diddy. Is there a strain with you and Cassie? Listen to this non-answer.
Well, I think that as a human being, right?
Anytime a nigga just start with some random bullshit, listen, man. As a father, like what the hell? We ain't talking about that. As a human being, like what the hell? This nigga acting like we talking like this is an alien movie.
It's just some of these questions like it would seem to me that they would have obvious answers. You know what I mean? Just if you were to put yourself in my position as a human being, right? And so there are definitely some. There are and there were definitely those moments and instances where you question what's really going on. But for us on the outside, because even in terms of her relationship with Puff, I'm on the outside. I didn't make it a point to try to get into whatever business was going on, and we're in the entertainment industry, so our lives, we make the decision to make the choice to expose ourselves in that way. And I took a lot of that, a lot of the sentiments and a lot of my reactions to those situations, especially my reaction.
God damn, this nigga shook. Holy shit. Did they go outside yet? I think they're about to be outside. Hold on. Okay.
The testimony isn't necessarily
the gallery
on Cassie for her as far.
Here we go. Why are we getting buffering?
Yeah, well, Jesse, when she had first kind of entered the courtroom, can't necessarily describe it as a tense moment necessarily, but I can only imagine what was kind of going through everybody's minds. You have Diddy's children on one side, his family on one side. You have Diddy, who was looking at Cassie as the moment that she walked inside that courtroom today. She was wearing a long brown dress. She is very, very much so, appears to be in her third trimester of her pregnancy. And so she kind of walked very quietly and very slowly up to the witness stand, took swore the oath and that type of sort, and then sat down for the prosecution's questioning. And as far as who her support was inside that courtroom, that included her brother, what we presume to be her mother, as well as even her husband, Alex Fine. And he was kind of the topic of some of these arguments outside of the presence of the jury, mainly about just some testimony that they're expected to happen, especially later on today or even possibly tomorrow, because she is expected to be on the stand for a while. But as far as when she got onto the stand, she was very soft-spoken when she was answering ASA Emily Johnson's question. She, we've been following this case from the beginning, from the moment that she had filed that federal lawsuit that was just very shocking, a very bombshell lawsuit that we all know was settled the following day. But as far as just kind of comparing the allegations to her witness testimony, it was kind of a difference in the sense that we had only seen her allegations through words, through paper, through court filings and that sort. But, when she got on the stand, it's now, for jurors in their minds, they're putting a voice and they're putting a person to, a name finally. They're seeing just from her side of the view just kind of her relationship with Diddy. Much of the testimony was very foundational. You know, when did she meet Diddy? How long before, you know, the two engaged in sexual intercourse? As well as, you know, she was briefly asked about the CNN video, and she did confirm that she was leaving a freak off when the vicious beating kind of happened. As far as just some other big highlights, we were shown a lot of photos of her and Sean, as she refers to him, in court, as well as her friends. You know, we saw a photo of him being Diddy, Kim Porter, another friend, and Cassie, all at the 2006 BET Awards. We saw a photo of Diddy with Cassie, another friend, and another potential witness to this case, all sitting on a couch. We had seen photos of their trip to Miami. We saw photos of them at a strip club together here in New York City in 2007. For Halloween, she had spoken about just, you know, her time working as an artist for Bad Boy, and just that pretty much, you know, some of these allegations she had talked about in her lawsuit, but also that Diddy controlled a lot of aspects of her recording career. You know, she signed a 10-album deal. However, she only put out one album plus a mixtape. A lot of the songs that she had even recorded had just gone either, you know, unreleased, or they were leaked and that type of sort. And so some of those were like kind of the big highlights, I would say. They were kind of touching base on who all else kind of played a role in, as far as, you know, security. She had named people like D-Rock and Bounds and Uncle Paulie and Malik. As far as assistants, we heard one of the big names being Christina Coram, as well as David James, Neil Dominic. And so that was kind of touching base a little bit as far as, you know, how Diddy's staff kind of interacted with her. But for the most part, another eye-opening point was just that, you know, Diddy had security around him 24/7. But she also had said that, you know, sometimes the security's job was to kind of check on her and make sure that she was doing what she was supposed to, essentially. That, you know, if she wasn't answering the phone when Diddy had called, that he would send his security to go and find her. And so, you know, as far as just some of the testimony, I'm sure we'll get into more details as far as kind of, you know, the freak offs and that type of those types of allegations. But, you know, it really did start off pretty foundational, and I was pretty surprised at, you know, how composed she was keeping it all while on the stand. Again, she was very soft-spoken, but she answered the questions directly. If there was something that she was confused about or wanted Emily Johnson to rephrase or just to ask again, she was open about that. You know, there were very brief moments of laughter, but that was just because, you know, it was nothing that had to do with any of those graphic allegations or anything like that. But it was just, you know, pretty much, she was asked, like, why didn't you release more albums? And she's like, is that a question for me? And then there was a little chuckle, but for the most part, it was very much a serious tone. A lot of eyes were on Cassie. A lot of eyes were also on Diddy's children when they were talking, you know, for example, about Kim Porter and just how that relationship had ended while Cassie was starting her relationship with Diddy. And so we got to kind of see finally for a while now, because it's almost been 2 years since she had filed her lawsuit at this point, that we kind of got to see her explain her own view from her own mouth, as opposed to us seeing these allegations in like lawsuits and that type of sort.
So I have two questions for you. One, how is the jury responding to her testimony and more of the graphic points of her testimony? But also, what was Diddy doing? What was Sean Combs doing? Was he looking at her? Was she looking at him at any points? So again, what was the jury's reaction, and what was the reaction between Diddy and Cassie?
Well, let me tell you, it was a very packed courtroom, so it was really hard to kind of see all the jurors and their faces. But from the little view that I got of just seeing these jurors, they were listening intently, like they have been even since yesterday, taking notes, kind of watching back and forth, both, you know, the prosecution asked their questions and then going over and kind of looking at the witness, that being Cassie, while on the stand. Now, as far as Diddy goes, he was watching very intently. Like, let me tell you something. He is very much so participating in his defense. He is jotting notes down. He's passing these notes, because we do know when the cross-examination comes down, it's going to be Ana Maria Esteval who's going to be doing that line of questioning once the defense does get to the cross of Cassie's testimony. But as far as Diddy goes, he definitely kept his eyes on Cassie for the most duration while she was on the stand, which I can only imagine was felt intimidating on her end, possibly. I'm obviously not in her mind, so I don't know that 100% or anything like that. But as far as Cassie looking back in Diddy's direction, even when she had gotten off the stand, she didn't look at him once. She just walked immediately outside through the gallery, didn't look at him, didn't look at his children. There was no type of like soft smile, none of that. I think, even she might not have noticed her husband was right there in the courtroom too, but she kept laser focused, got out of the door, and then that's when everybody else kind of left the courtroom for lunch break.
Pretty surreal, to say the least. Let me ask you this. At the beginning of the day, we kind of got a sense of what's going to happen next. Everybody's been talking about the freak-off tapes or these sex tapes and how they're going to be visible in the courtroom, whether or not the gallery is going to see these tapes. I imagine when she's going to have to talk about these tapes, she's going to have to view these tapes. What was the discussion earlier this morning regarding the tapes, how a witness will be questioned about the tapes, and whether or not anybody in the gallery will ultimately see them?
Yeah, so there was a lot of concerns about these exhibits, mainly more so, I guess, from us on the press ends portion, just seeing that these photos were sexually explicit and very graphic in nature. The government planned to show some of these images because they, according to the government, were 6 still images. They were nude images of victims that were sexually explicit, but the government kind of came up with a solution that, they would provide headphones to the jurors so that way, we wouldn't hear any type of audio of, these exhibits that were going to be portrayed. The government wanted to keep this material out of public record. The defense, meanwhile, says it's pretty much adult pornography. And so that's when we kind of started connecting the dots that these were, videos and images of, these freak-offs that the government is kind of talking about that's central to their case. The defense says it's a privacy issue, and they question what us in the press would pretty much do with these types of images. And you know what? We have a right to kind of talk about them, especially not in a salacious manner or anything like that. I don't think that was any of our intents on, being in the courtroom while these images were played or anything like that. But apparently it seems like, a point for the defense that, they were just wondering what the press would do about it, especially with so many eyes on this case. And so, they wanted to address this issue. The media did have a response through a lawyer. Not 100% sure what outlet they were with, but the media's response was pretty much that the press needs to see these. The testimony isn't necessarily suitable for these images because, the big question is, was this consensual or was this coerced? And so the media lawyer, offered maybe just the pool reporters to see these types of images, so that way there would at least be some media in the room, so that way we could report about.
Yeah, so this is the big thing. Like, shit. They've even brought up, they say, yo, there's mad screaming. It's probably, that video probably nasty, man. Astroglide everywhere, baby. That shit probably look like a slip and slide, man. Some shit you see at Great Adventures, my nigga. Like, come on, you hear Diddy just like skin fapping over there. Like, it's probably really nasty. Like, you're hearing Cassie moan like a pig. Like, it's just probably crazy. So they said, we don't want to play this shit over the big speakers in here. This shit, Diddy's kids is probably, imagine Diddy's kids like, what? That's how daddy get down? Crazy. He got daughters and shit like that. So what they want to do is headphones. Get these motherfuckers AirPods. They can hear it, but, it's not going to be played throughout the whole gallery where niggas like, what the fuck going on in there? Second of all, they're like, not everybody needs to see this. And they're trying to see if, because it's a matter of public interest, they can't be like, clear the courtroom, right? Because that could be something that, some of these journalists, which, by the way, Matthew, I forgot his name, the inner city press guy, he files mad motions and lawsuits himself when they try to prevent access. Like, sometimes they'll try to prevent access to journalists, and because it's a matter of public interest, they can't do that. So sometimes he'll go to court himself and make sure they're allowed to do whatever. So they're trying to do the right thing when they know that it would be pretty much unethical and out of the ordinary to say no one could see it, but they're trying to see if they can limit the exposure. So that's why they're like, maybe we only pick certain journalists, probably give a warning that maybe his kids could, I don't know, And I don't know if Alex Fine, which is Cassie's husband, want to see Cassie get plowed by multiple men. I don't know.
There would at least be some media in the room, so that way we.
Yo, chat, a freak-off watch party is diabolical. Like, a freak-off watch party up in the courtroom? Diabolical, chat.
Could a report about this. And so from the media's response, they completely objected to total sealment of these images and says that it's a First Amendment issue. And so this is going to be taken up probably at a later time, possibly when we all come back from the lunch break, just to kind of get a better picture of it. But it seems like, from both parties that they're kind of fearful about these images getting out. But on our side, we have a right to report on what's going on. I mean, look at just the media campouts just behind me. A lot of people have interest in this, not just for salacious headlines or anything like that, but because this is a very high profile and criminal case. And of course, we will respectfully report on it if we are able to see these images.
Real quick, Elizabeth, I want to get you back in that courtroom. 30 seconds. If you could just explain what the scene is like today.
Well, the scene is very much so a lot of high energy, a lot of anxious energy, and maybe I'm just saying my own personal feelings because it was pretty tense this morning as a lot of people were just trying to battle to get inside that courtroom because everyone wanted to be in there when Cassie took the stand. Everyone wanted to see her raise her right hand, swear an oath, and to get inside that courtroom. So there was a little tense moments from people either cutting in lines or people trying to get ahead as well. But as far as, from the family's perspective, I had mentioned yesterday that the daughters had walked out during Daniel Phillips' testimony. That wasn't the case today. Everyone stayed in court, stayed in place. They were listening to all the testimony that was going on today. And so for the most part, it just seems like, okay, this is day 2. A lot of people are just wanting to know more information. What are we going to be getting out of this case? Is this a criminal case, or is this, very much so possibly a domestic violence case, as the defense is trying to kind of paint it out. But as far as the mood inside that courtroom, it's very tense, I will say, mainly because a lot of people just have their eyes on this very important testimony from one of the biggest witnesses and one of the biggest players inside this case today.
Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much for being our eyes and our ears about what's happening in that courtroom. No cameras, no audio equipment, but we got Elizabeth, and she does a fantastic job. Thank you so much. And
okay. All right. So let me see. I hear that we do have some videos of like the family walking in. I'm trying to find it for y'all. By the way, if you guys do want to get a question in or a comment, just either become a member, and I think that they allow you to submit a question that way, or just send a donation or something like that. I could easily see it. All right. I think. Hold on. Sorry. Here we go. So this was them leaving court yesterday. I don't see anything. Oh, you want to see Cassie's husband leaving court yesterday? This was yesterday. This is after hearing all the details about how the sex worker was handling Cassie.
Is Cassie afraid to testify, or do you think she has?
I need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please. Step to the side, please.
Watch out. Watch your back.
Oh, sorry. Why does this nigga look like he one of them agents from what's that shit with Morpheus called? Like Mr. Anderson. That's what he looked like. He looked like that Mr. Anderson nigga. Somebody said, what if the jury loves Diddy directing? What are you asking right now, bro? Hold on, let me load up the chat. If you guys are asking questions, I will entertain it. But you said, what if the jury likes the videos? I mean, that would be weird. Like, I don't care how the videos look. You're here for a sexual assault case, my nigga. Like, you're here for sex trafficking, and you're seeing someone cry about it. Even if you don't even believe her. Like, if you're turned on by the video, you're fucking weird. Right? You know what I mean? Like, even if we don't believe her and the video looks like she was lit as fuck and she's getting it in, if you like the video, it's like, that's kind of weird, right?
Right. How you doing, my brother? Everything cool? What's the temperament inside?
What's his name?
What's
Okay, and Northside Capo said, yo, she was with Ryan Leslie, a star, and she never sucked dick before. So you don't believe her. Northside Capo says he don't believe that Cassie never sucked no cock before Diddy. Remember, according to Ruger, thank you for the gifted membership. Remember, her story is that Diddy is the person who introduced her to sucking penis.
What do you hope to happen?
Are you hoping that he's found guilty? Congrats on the new baby.
How you feeling, man?
How are you feeling about tomorrow?
How you feeling, man? Back up. What are your expectations from this trial?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling? Where's the photographer? Cassie, how you feeling? How you feeling, Alex?
Damn. So much press. Back up, nigga.
That's right.
How'd it go in there today?
It's probably hell getting. If you guys ever been to this region, it's hell getting in and out of this courtroom. Definitely hell. Okay. Let me go back to this. Oh, and the parents or the family, this is the family. They're doing this thing where they're all holding hands. Probably also not to get lost in the shuffle, but it does show some solidarity.
Congratulations at NYU, champs.
Give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space.
I saw a few smiles. That's
Yeah, Diddy has some very beautiful daughters, man. They look very pleasant. Very pleasant. One thing I like about Diddy's, like, I'll say the daughters more necessary than the sons. I've never seen them look crazy online. They look very, like, classy. They look dope. Like, again, and I think in 2025, having daughters is the most, like, yo, you don't want to look up and you're like, yo, my daughter on OnlyFans? Like, not saying that obviously they would do OnlyFans or something like that, but I don't think we've seen embarrassing moments with Diddy's daughters. They've always looked really classy. So salute to them.
Step to the side.
And I'm pretty sure the apple don't fall too far from the tree. I'm pretty sure they get that probably from Kim Porter, right?
Excuse me.
Give us a little space. Give us a little space, please.
All right, man.
Come on, give us a little space. Have a good evening, guys. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Back up. Back up.
Hey, man. Now, this is the moms. This is King. Why do I keep calling him King? That's his fucking Instagram name. This is Christian.
Sean, man, be good, bro.
I think this is Janice.
King. We love you, bro.
Don't know who this is right here. Don't know who that is.
Justin.
By the way, I've been trying to see if Christina Karam, the assistant, I've been trying to see if she's gonna pop up in court. Haven't seen her yet.
Be good.
Okay, we love you, bro.
Okay, you threw up a little peace sign.
Hi, Justin. How you doing, man? Good.
Again, I'm probably reading too much into this about. Somebody said, "Are you going to the trial at King Rick? Thank you for the donation." I'm going to try to pop in one day, of course. Shit, I'm not gonna lie. I think today is the big day. Today is the big day. Well, not today, tomorrow, and probably Thursday. Yeah, I know I have my show on Thursday, so there's no fucking way I could do this, right? But anytime after Thursday, I know 2 days after that's still my birthday, but I'm down to pop in for one day or right when we're about to get closing. Right when we're like, I don't think I could go to this every day. Chat, look at this. This is like, again, I've been over this area in New York. This place is hell to get in and out of. And even though they block off most cars. Okay? But I do want to show up one day. By the way, you know what I realized? Myron Gaines is actually here, and he said he was in court. Myron was in court.
We love you, Misa. We love you.
Bless you, Misa.
Now, supposedly, so Misa is the mother, and I'm actually quite surprised that Justin Combs, that's Justin Combs' mom. Like, your mom is on a walker, bro. Like, I know he's probably a good son. I don't want to, go at nobody about being a son. But your mom's on a walker, bro. You can't walk ahead of your mom and hop in the Sprinter, bro. You got to help your mom up in there, bro. That's how it goes. You got to help mama, okay? But anyway, also, you know what I've noticed about Justin? Like, I don't know. I've seen him in another video. He kind of like, I feel like he's always like looking down. And I'm probably reading too much into this. I'm pretty sure he has a positive outlook about, his father's, trial. But I've been looking at him, and he kind of looks a little down. I don't know. But again, he does walk in front of his mom, and his mom is on a walker.
How you doing, man? Good? We love you, Misa. We love you. Bless you, Misa. How was the whole thing, man? Everything was good?
Quincy, who's the guy with the glasses and the chain and the belt? How you doing,
Lucy, salute, brother.
We're not familiar with you. Who are you, sir?
I think this Quincy nigga always looks like a rock star, bro. By the way, thank you for the 10. Big Play 2008. It says, the moderators, you said you were, what? The only one that could unblock Cardinal Rule from the chat. Okay, so your name is Cardinal Rule? Which chat are you blocked from? I don't want to force you to donate again, but just tell me what channel you're blocked from, what name, and I'll go on the channel and I'll block you right now, bro. Okay?
Whole thing, man. Everything was good?
Quincy, who's the guy with the glasses and the chain and the belt? How you doing,
Lucy, salute, brother.
We're not familiar with you. Who are you, sir?
Chat, am I tripping? Who is this right here? Is this ain't one of those lawyers? It's not Gloria Allred, is it? Remember the chick that was sitting next to the Diddy victim? Gloria Allred. That's not her, is it? Is that her? Gloria Allred Diddy. You remember? Look, she was doing this.
We'll take you now. It is long overdue for...
This is not her, right? That's her? I ain't gonna lie. On phone them grave, I would have had to swung on you. You over here, you got bitches lying on my daddy and shit. Man, bitch, I'm slapping you. Yo, shut up, bitch. Get out of here. Yo, that's not her, right? That's her? Man, you not gonna stand right at my Sprinter you trolling me now? While my daddy finna go to jail for life? Oh, hell nah. Fuck out of here. Yo, why is she over there like watching the family? Like, that's creepy as fuck. She represents one of the alleged victims. She represents this woman. When did this woman claim she's... Oh, this was one of them old chicks. She got fucked back in 2001. Man. Nah, actually, I wouldn't have done nothing to her. Listen, Diddy got a big family. If I see her, I'm gonna told the twins. Yo, you see that bitch I was talking shit about daddy? She right there. Drag that hoe. Yeah. Drag that hoe. I'm serious. Damn, she really in the cut. I wouldn't even recognize it. She in the cut. Yo, you know yo, everybody there, like, I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the family. What's the name? Armand Wiggins. Apparently, he ran up on Tyrone Blackburn. He ran up on Tyrone Blackburn is the one who represented Lil Rod. Look how Lil Rod and them show up to the fucking shit. They show up like they think they had a rap concert. Look at this shit. Wait. Oh, wait, where is it? Oh, look at this. This is them right here. They show up like they think they had a rap show, nigga. This nigga think he swear he Travis Scott. This is Lil Rod right here. He swear he Travis Scott.
We're subject to a gag order by the court. So I'm attorney Tom Blackburn, and we're not allowed to make any statements, so we're not saying anything.
Okay. Are you representing anyone specifically?
Yes, several people.
Some of the victims?
Several victims.
Several of the victims. Okay. Thank you. What are you guys looking at?
Tyrone Blackburn.
How are your clients feeling?
Just answered her, and I told her they were not making any statements because of the gag order.
I'm ordering some more coffee. By the way, I think I know DoorDash King. I'm ordering some more coffee from McDonald's. I'm gonna order 2 more of these bitches because I'm gonna see how long we can stay on today. Yeah, let me.
Thank you.
Just answered her question and said that I'm not making any statements because of the gag order.
This nigga Lil Rod, this nigga think he's showing up to Summer Jam to perform, man. Yeah, this nigga not even like the prosecutors don't even want him in the case. The prosecutor. This is how you know. Come on, chat. The this was other than the Cassie lawsuit. This was the one with the most amount of like greatest shit, right? By the way, thank you, Jahi Johnson said your big act the greatest. Thank you, my boy. This nigga had the most allegations in his shit. Had shit about Stevie J. Told my Stevie J was over there sucking niggas' dicks. Said Meek Mill was getting piped out. Like this the nigga who said all the shit. The prosecutors, the feds, don't use him at all. He shows up anywhere. Now he still got a civil lawsuit going on, so I guess he's just showing up to you know. But I ain't gonna lie, this is where like King gotta go handle that. Well, I keep calling him King. Christian Combs. Weren't they trying to jump Ray J for saying no Diddy? Y'all remember this? Ray J, no Diddy. Y'all remember this? He was just like, yo, I just ran into these niggas and they tried to jump me.
Did Sean Diddy Combs? She had.
Oh my God. Y'all remember this? And then we're going back to the case afterwards.
That.
What a firearm is.
I mean, listen, Ray.
Oh my God, I can't find it. Ray J, Diddy's sons jump. He said, they tried to jump me over some no Diddy shit. All right, is it this?
Stop hanging with you. You know, until you called me, they tried to rush you for real.
Rolling up with the intensity.
I can't find his audio. It's like, we live, Charlemagne. Yo, I just ran into Diddy's sons. These niggas just tried to jump me over me saying no Diddy. Hilarious. Anyway.
How do you feel about people saying that you're a clout-chasing lawyer?
Just like I answered that woman's question earlier, I'm not speaking as pursuant to the gag order. That's how I feel.
Holy. Okay. All right. All right, we getting back to it, chat. We getting back to it. I think we're pretty much almost back in action, ain't we? We back in action. I think if we get back to inner city, we should be good. Okay. I know he probably also vlogged outside. Let's see what's cracking. Okay. During the break, I went. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, hold on. All right, they're back. 116, they are back. All right. And the judge says, welcome back, everybody. AUSA says, who was your manager at Bad Boy Records? Cassie says, James Cruz. He says, what did he tell you? He said, well, he said that he was managing me with one hand tied behind his back. Everything he had to check with Sean. The AUSA says, well, how did you make money if your records weren't being released? She said, well, I did host parties when Diddy approved them. What comments did Diddy or Sean make about your physical appearance? He told me I look too Mexican with my hair like that. Hilarious. Diddy was tweaking out, huh? All right. All righty then. James Cruz. Did James Cruz ever speak about? Did James Cruz ever?
You had the opening.
James Cruz, Cassie. So that was her manager. Did James Cruz ever say anything? Oh, this is James Cruz right here, right?
What was your role at Bad Boy Records?
Well, it started really easy. It started as head of mix show and street team. So if you recall, Bad Boy was probably the first. If you talk to Steve Rifkin, it was the second, but it was the first street team ever. And Puff brought me over, and Jason Jackson was the vice president. And Jason Jackson decided that he wanted to go manage Lauryn Hill. Now, my role was not so much as being a mix show director. I didn't know nothing about radio. I didn't know nothing about street teams. All I knew was that if Puff threw me in a lake of water, I'd do the backstroke in 2 seconds just to show off to him. And he said to me when Jason left, what are you going to do? I said, well, I guess what do you want me to do? He said, sink or swim, you run promotion. And at that time, I was not necessarily the favorite person at Bad Boy because, you had a bunch of interns that were there for years that wanted the role. The company was changing. It was becoming more from a smaller boutique label to becoming a juggernaut movement of social consciousness and awareness. And Puff had the vision to start to position the company in a certain way. He brought over Josh Takeman, he brought you over. There was a marketing division being created. I think Nantucket Nectars was like the first huge deal Josh was working on. And I was babysitting the street team with the street team van. And we were sleeping, driving back and forth to all the shows, but we had to be in the office by 10 or we get a day's pay docked. That's a true story. Remember that? So, my role became so much more important. Then I had to deal with Arista, the parent label. And I learned from two great guys, Tom Maffei, who I thought was incredible.
Good guy.
And Clive Davis. And being in those rooms, just the aura and presence just made you want to be better. It's like playing next to Jordan. You're going to have a better game next to Jordan. Playing next to Puff, I want to be Scottie Pippen. He could be Horace Grant, but we played better next to Puff. It would just happen. If we played on other teams, we played great, but we just played better next to Puff because he made you want to step up. And then probably for 2.5 years, we moved over to 1345. And I'll never forget, it came the time where we probably were like the hottest team on the face of the earth. And I had just gotten married and just had my first daughter, Alexis. And I had an offer from Bob Jameson at RCA. He offered me $500,000 a year. 27 years old right now. $500,000 a year plus a huge expensive and a huge budget, promo budget. And I had an offer from Dave McPherson over at Epic. And Puff calls me into his office. He goes, "So you're leaving, huh?" And I go, "It looks like it." He goes, "What you gonna do?" And I explained to him my options. And I said to him, then there's this other thing over here, this management thing, Chris Lighty, Violator Management. He goes, "Are you stupid?" I'm like, Puff Daddy calling you stupid. And this time, this is P. Diddy. This is the guy I don't like. There's 5 personalities, we'll get into that later, but P. Diddy's the one I don't like. And P. Diddy calling me stupid, and I go, "Huh?" He goes, "Retail, marketing, marketing endorsement deals, promotion. You go and learn management, there'll be no stopping you." And right there, he picks up the phone and calls Chris Lighty and says, "I'm loaning you my #1 guy."
Okay, so me knowing Puff, he was ready for you to get out the building.
Yeah, he was done. He was done.
Puff don't let Puff is like the jealous girlfriend. If anybody is looking at you, he's like, hell no.
No. But see, there's a difference there.
Tell me.
Sometimes you need a coach to show you where to go. He was preparing me to be his manager.
What's up, guys? Thanks for sticking with me.
By the way, Cardinal, I am looking to see how I could get you good. Trying to figure it out. No. When I figure it out, I'll be able to unblock you. All right. Okay. So it looked like James Cruz even was pretty much kind of co-signing some of this stuff, right? Huh. All right. Anyway. So looked like Diddy was kind of confronting her saying, "Yo, listen, you're looking a little bit too Mexican. We're trying to make some music. Shit ain't gonna work." And she was trying to do whatever to kind of like appease him, right? So here we then go. AUSA says, "How do you like your nails?" She says, "White, French tipped. What about your hair?" "It varied. I shaved my head in 2009. Your body. He told me to work out and prepare." Yo, training for the freak-offs is crazy, chat. He told me to work out and prepare for the freak-offs. Yo, you got to train for, you need more stamina. Yo, baby girl, you keep getting gassed in the 4th. You need more conditioning. Get ready for the freak-offs. Going to the gym for the freak-offs is crazy, chat. How'd you feel? Nah, this is crazy. The freak-off workout plan is undefeated. Like, you ever heard about the Kanye workout plan? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and get that to me, right? Imagine what was going on in the freak-off workout plan, bro. This is crazy. How'd you feel about his comments? It varied. What else did Sean pay for? He paid for cars. Did he give you cash? Yeah, but he would take things away depending on how he felt. What else did he take away? He said, my self-confidence. Who would take things away? Staff. Say, I assume staff. And then the defense would say, objection. It says jury will disregard. That's last answer. It says, who took your laptop and your phone? He said security. He said, how long would they be gone for? However long I was being punished for. Damn, Diddy was running a fucking tight ship. Okay. Now, this is kind of like an interesting thing, right? For example, we in culture, we like, let's talk about Quavo. Quavo took back the car from Sweetie. I'm pretty sure they were, while arguing before they broke up, I'm pretty sure Quavo was just like, all right, bitch, get your funky ass on out of here and give me my car back. Or if she was acting up, I'm pretty sure he probably tried to take it back. I'm not trying to throw Quavo on them into no mix. I'm just saying, we see niggas take shit back, right? We see 6ix9ine took his Birkins back from Jade. We see Future supposedly took his watch back from a girl. How much of that is control versus, yo, I'm going to take this shit back if we ain't working out? Now, this seems to be a little bit different, admittedly, because it appears that she's calling it punishment. I'm being punished so I don't have A, B, and C. That's the thing, right? It's kind of interesting. Shorty had freak off training. Yeah, that's crazy. The freak off training grounds got to be crazy. Like, that's where I want to see the questions at. So how would you exercise to get prepared for the freak off? There's that one. I know y'all gonna say I don't know nothing about the gym, but motherfucker, there's that one machine at the gym, my nigga. The one where you like work out your neck muscle. It look mad homosexual. Like any nigga that I see doing this, I'm like, what is he doing? I see females more doing that. She must be using machines like that. Because what type of exercise would you have to do to be better at freak offs? Like what fucking machine would get the back shots a little bit better? Like, would the elliptical help? Like, I don't know. Got her ass riding the little Peloton bike. I don't know what the fuck she could have been doing in the goddamn gym that would be helping out the freak offs. 24-hour fitness? Man, 24-hour freak offs, man. Yeah, the freak off boot camp is diabolical. I'm not even gonna lie to you. What type of exercise could she have been doing? Crunches? And then going by what they were doing, if this is all about freak off training, was she drinking protein or a different protein, gang? Yo, here's your protein shake before you work out. What type of protein is that? All the sex workers' semen just mixed up in one. You said cardio? Okay. Oh, that Stairmaster probably did hit different, huh? Somebody said men do take back their wedding ring. So, we're getting, we're obviously tongue-in-cheek joking a little bit. We're not trying to downplay her possibly being a victim or anything, but we're just trying to, kind of analyze these situations as we're seeing them in text. We don't have video and audio, so I do have to do some ad-libbing. So for anybody who think I'm insensitive, I'm not trying to be, right? Getting back a little bit serious, though, we do understand that what's kind of being put out and the picture that the AUSA is trying to paint is that these gifts or these things that Diddy did were money, power, and control. Now, it's going to be a great point, and it's going to be who's the better lawyer, if you ask me. Now, Cassie's going to say that, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you my girl and I find out you cheating, I'm taking back my motherfucking car. I'm taking back my goddamn phone. If shit, I think that's kind of normal. But the AUSA is gonna paint this like he had complete autonomous control over her life, and it was almost used as if you don't do what I want, and not only just like in a relationship standard, but it's like if you don't do these sexual acts, which that then becomes sex trafficking. You get what I'm saying? So it's going to be, because I could tell you, Diddy's side is going to say, yeah, he took these things back from you after he caught you sucking the trainer's cock. Like, duh. Yeah, his security found you with another man. And yes, he took things back from you. Yes. He was, and also it might come to this. He was trying to break up with you. Who knows? It's going to be a matter of who do you believe more, or which lawyer could be more convincing on how you're going to see these situations, because they're painting it as security would take her laptop and phone. And by the way, they're going to, what they're going to trip her up on? Okay. So you're telling me that security would take your laptop and phone or take back things that he gave you, but then he would also come check up. It's going to be very interesting. All right. Anyway, we should have a new tweet. I'm trying to make sense of this chat. Again, I'm not saying all my, what the fuck is this? I'm not saying everything I'm saying is all the way right. How often were you in contact with Sean's staff? She said daily. She said, who are in these photos? She says, Christina Karam and Miss Fletcher. She said, what did you call Karam? She says, KK. And she says, who is this? This is D-Rock. He was Sean's security. Has D-Rock ever spoken? We've heard about D-Rock, Cassie. Has he ever spoken about this? Roger Bond. Yeah, Roger Bond did admit certain stuff, saying, hey, certain things I didn't see because D-Rock was the security that was out of town with her a lot. Let's see. Hold on. So D-Rock has never talked, right? It's interesting. Roger Bonds, who has spoke, he says Cassie was just as wrong as Diddy. Chopper also reviews Diddy. He revealed he saw Diddy take Cassie from Ryan Leslie, and he says Cassie and Diddy abuse went both ways. This was the Cassie interview from the day after the Diddy hotel video. Let's see this.
So what's more fun? What's more fun, the shy guy or like the guy who's like, I know I'm kind of cool?
I mean, I like a badass guy, but I feel like the challenge of a guy that's shy.
So supposedly, let me see. This was in 2016, I'm guessing. Oh, so after the Beating and the Dragon, this is her.
Is actually interesting.
If she did have any bruises, I'm guessing makeup probably covered it, huh?
Thing too.
Interesting.
Changes, but I want some peace of truth. I'm constantly assailed, and I'm wanting, waiting, wanting love deferred, but I won't stay. No, you never said just what you wanted when you wanted.
The fuck? Sorry.
Welcome to...
Okay, I'm trying to get this D-Rock person's account.
That Cassie was supposed to be hosting. And that basically allowed him to make an excuse for Cassie to fly out to Miami without Ryan Leslie.
Okay.
During that trip, Cassie claims that Diddy gave her tons of drugs, kept her high throughout the whole weekend, and that was the first time that they actually had sex.
Okay.
Do you remember that weekend? Were you around?
Yes, I was around.
Okay. Do you know about the fake flyer?
I don't know about the fake flyer, but I do remember when she came back and they went out to the club a couple of times, and it was a couple of times when they would stay in the studio to 4 or 5 in the morning. I wouldn't be allowed to go to bed until they left the studio. And, being nosy, we all would just stay around and kind of watch and say, yo, how long do you think it's going to be? How long do you think it's going to take before he breaks the safe? That's that type of conversation. And then we all realized when she didn't stay in her room one night that we said, okay, this is it.
Right. And the two of them started to become serious. Right. He bought her a car. He got her an apartment in Manhattan that was walking distance to his apartment. And she said that when he first showed her the apartment, her parents.
All right, we got to figure out some more about D-Rock. Ron J77, he says, does anyone remember the first public performance from Cassie? Because it was terrible and Diddy was visibly upset. He probably did some wild shit to her that night. What was the first performance? Cassie's first performance? Let's look at it. Cassie first. What's her first performance? Is this? It says 11 years ago. What's the first performance? Is it? It's kind of look like it might be. Maybe it's this. Oh. Send a link of the performance if you can, or at least describe it how I could search for it. Anyway, all right, some more tweets. It says, how frequently were you in Sean's residence? She says, all the time. AUSA says, did they all have safes? She says, yeah. He says, or Emily Johnson, which is the AUSA, says, what did you observe in them? She said, cash, jewelry, cameras, videotapes, guns in New York, LA, Miami, and Alpine, New Jersey. Damn, Diddy had an Alpine, New Jersey spot? Never heard of that. Diddy, Alpine, New Jersey. Alpine, New Jersey is one of the best places. I think Lil' Kim lives there now. Mary J. Blige lived there. It's like one of the highest towns with property value. Like houses are usually 10 million plus, easy. Yet like the real estate there is crazy. Oh, Diddy sells. Okay, damn, this is actually a modest home in Alpine. In Alpine, you see like 40, 50 million dollar houses. So this is actually modest. Yeah, Alpine, New Jersey is like the top of the top. Okay. All right. Cool. So Alpine, New Jersey, and so they had houses all over the place, right? Do you recall the incident between Sean and Suge Knight? She said, yes, we're having a freak off in LA. D-Rock came in and said, Suge was down at a diner. Sean drove there. So what was your reaction? I cried. I said, don't do something stupid. So it looked like she cared about him. And I think what's kind of coming off to the jury is that I don't think Cassie's sitting here saying, I never loved Sean Diddy Combs. She's kind of admitting like, yeah, I love this guy, but he mistook my love and it turned to abuse because he started making me do things that weren't of love and he had other things over my head, if you get what I'm saying, right? All right. Now, we heard the story about that, if you guys don't remember. Do you remember this story? Diddy, Cassie, D-Rock, Suge. Right here. Gene Deals told the story. Oh, well, let's go to Roger Bond.
Lawsuit that Cassie filed. She mentioned...
I was around, you know what I'm saying? And I came to work. I think I flew into LA the next day. And they told me what happened. Yo, we seen Suge last night. So what happened? Yo, we was at Mel's Diner. That's the name of it. That's about 5 minutes from Puff House. That's on Sunset. And they said we was going to get Puff some burgers. And when we opened up the door, my man D-Rock opened up his door and Suge opened up his door at the same time. So D-Rock was Biggie Man. So Suge knew exactly who he was. So Suge looked at him and said, what the fuck you doing out here? And he looked at Suge and said, what the fuck you think I'm doing out here? I'm working. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, he said, Suge put his hand around his man and it was 20 or 30 people that came to the spot. But he also said that Puff assistant slid off and called Puff and told him that they was in trouble at the Mel's Diner. And
now, real quick. Hold on. What the fuck? I'll put this on in a second. Real quick. This is going to go into Diddy's defense. The prosecutor got Cassie on the stand, and essentially what they're asking about is some stuff that kind of goes into hearsay. He's not charged for grabbing a gun and going to go see about Suge, right? And the only way this story gets to get involved is that they're saying, oh, we were having a freak off when he stopped the freak off to go holla at or grab guns to go see about Suge, right? And the idea that the prosecutor is using this to help try to prove sex trafficking kind of shows a lot of the prosecution cases based off Cassie's lawsuit. Cassie pretty much told us a lot. I think that helps Diddy, because Diddy's defense is going to be, yo, y'all filed a criminal case, alleged RICO, which is a very serious charge, and it's very effective, but still, you have to convince people of this. You claim sex trafficking all over what this woman filed in a lawsuit that she wanted to get $30 million for. This was a shakedown,
That Puff came and picked him up. Now, in her lawsuit, she talks about guns and everything. I don't really know about that, but I know for a fact that he came and picked him up from Mel's Diner. But you can't see inside the truck because the truck is all blacked out. And he said some woman rode up next to them in a convertible Rolls Royce and said, yo, what's up? But they knew 9 out of 10 that them girls was Suge girls, and they was trying to see who came and picked them up. And if it was Puff picking them up, it would have been a problem. But I was actually off. I came to work the next day, and they told me the story.
Being Diddy's bodyguard, was there any other people, any other famous people that you ever had to bodyguard for? Or you might have been called on maybe on a night off or anything?
I bodyguarded for Loon, which I
Okay. Should have some more tweets. So that story, it's now relevant because it was during a freak off, supposedly. AUSA says, were you ever handed a gun? Ventura says, yes. We were going to the club downtown L.A. We had taken mushrooms. I was high. I was told to put the gun in my bag. I was freaking out. It says, who was present? It says a driver, security, and Sean. Another time I saw them get dressed and grab guns and leave in an SUV. AUSA says, well, how long were they gone? She says 30 to 40 minutes. AUSA says, let me switch topics here. How soon into the relationship did Sean mention voyeurism to you? And voyeurism is what we're going to talk about or think about in the sense of Diddy wants to watch sex happen or performance art. Look at sex as a performance art. Sometimes it could be having sex in front of somebody else, right? Because there are people that have kinks that they want to fuck somebody, but they want somebody to watch them. Or in Diddy's case, he doesn't want to participate sometimes, but he wants to watch it, right? So that's, some voyeurism right there. By the way, I don't know what angle they're trying to get to with the did you ever grab a gun for him? I guess they're trying to say she was being forced to, almost carry out what could have been potential crimes for him. And they're trying to establish and really nail home this idea that she had no choice in the matter. And she was just doing these things because Diddy wanted her to. Okay. Then now they're going to talk about the voyeurism. And apparently when they get together, and this is what we're going to get into some stuff now. We're going to get some stuff. Because now they're going to talk about how did Diddy introduce this idea of you getting piped out by another man, right? She claims this happened the first 6 months or after the first year of being together. That's when Diddy pretty much start bringing this idea to life. Okay. By the way, here.
I never said he had a special person to film everything. I said he had his assistants carry his personal bags around. And when I was there, he had an assistant named Tommy that would carry his Louis Vuitton bag around. And back in those days, it was a camcorder. So it was one of them little small hand camcorders with the little tapes. But he didn't actually tape them. His job was just to carry that bag around. But nobody knew what was on them videotapes. Whether it was, because at that time, people was videotaping everything. But this was his personal camcorder. And to be honest with you, our mind never went to the point of freak-offs. So we actually thought this was his personal videos that he was doing, whatever the fuck shit he was doing. But We didn't think it was freak offs and that it was of men.
So this is a former security guard. He's alleging that there was a assistant that was carrying around like a Louis V bag or some type of designer bag that had a camcorder and supposed tapes. In hindsight, he's kind of saying that's probably where the freak off videos were. Did he carry around the freak off videos like that? I mean, after hearing some of the stuff we're hearing, I know these are just witness testimonies at this point. He could have been.
Regularly bodyguarded.
Wait, sorry.
And all type of other shit like that. It was just like everybody got their job. And along with his personal stuff was his job to carry his...
Mr. Unclean, I see you say in the chat, you say, yo, if she's not a star witness, I wonder who could top Cassie's testimony. Well, it got to be her or Jane Doe, right? So I think it's her. She has a standalone charge, right? So whatever, if... Let me bring back up the indictment. I'm gonna bring the indictment up. A lot of the things that he's charged with hinge on her. So she gotta be the star witness. Unless somebody was there watching all these things. And even then, they can't speak to how she felt when she's the one who was coerced, supposedly.
Medication to carry, the only thing we carried as security was the money.
Chat, is my audio going in and out? Let me make sure. It shouldn't be. You guys might have to refresh or something if it's going in and out. Mic check. Is it going in and out? Pause. No Diddy. You guys might have to refresh because it looks fine right here. I'm telling you. Yeah, please refresh. Please refresh.
Money. You know what I'm saying? So we never even really thought about it until all of this freak off shit came back, and then it rang in my mind like, oh shit. This must be them tapes that Tommy was carrying at that particular time.
Okay, well, he has this bag. How long does he have this bag? You know, how much footage do you think you seen him get, or maybe think that he got during your guys' time working together?
I have no idea. You know, that bag was with him every day, just like the regular bag with all his medication and stuff like that. So when he did freak offs, how he did freak offs, or what time, or we would.
Some people are saying that refresh worked. So if you're hearing audio issues, I think it's a YouTube only thing where, I don't know, maybe they're encoder or maybe it was something on my side. So just refresh. Don't know if it's happening on King Akademiks page. I know it's happening on the Academy. So just refresh. Otherwise, we should be good. By the way, shout out to everybody on Kick, also on Rumble.
Never know that.
Chat, we're 27,000 strong up in here, man. 27,000 strong. From all platforms.
So I can't say how much footage he had in that bag.
But that bag was around every day for 10 years.
Now that bag was that. Well, I can't say it was every day for 10 because I can't tell what exactly that bag was there every day. I know that was a bag that when Tommy had it, he had that bag. If he ain't had that bag, then it was in a safe or it was with Mr. Combs.
Do you think Diddy would have been smart enough to get rid of this stuff before the feds raided his house?
He didn't know the feds was going to raid his house, evidently. Or he didn't, like, sometimes it's like you think you're invincible. You have that God syndrome. You think nothing's going to happen. So, or if they raid it, they're going to raid it a certain type of way, and they're not going to come and knock down everything and find tunnels and do this, that, and the other without somebody that he thought would be able to call him to give him a heads up. Evidently, they kept this one so hush-hush because they knew that it was somebody that would give them a heads up. These guys didn't even know where they were going.
Oh, okay. Were there any guys that you actually, became friends with besides Diddy? Any celebs?
Nah, I never really was on that. To me, it's like, I'm cool with everybody.
Okay. We should have some more tweets here. So now we're going to see about the voyeurism, right? And apparently if we're hearing it from, we're going to hear from the horse's mouth. So the voyeurism started like pretty much a year after they started fucking around. They ask her, how old are you? They start fucking around like 21. She said she was 22. AUSA says, why did you agree to try a freak off? She said, good question. I just wanted to make him happy. They then said, where and when was the first freak off? She says one of his homes in LA, and they put up an exhibit, Exhibit 2A 627. It says, who is this? It says, that's the first escort. They said, do you know his name? She says, no. AUSA says, I'll call him first escort. Were you aware if he was paid or not? Ventura says, yes, he was paid to dance and to have intercourse with me. AUSA says, what drugs did you take? She says, well, ecstasy and alcohol before things started. The AUSA then says, did you disguise your appearance? She said, Sean said we should disguise ourselves. So I wore masquerade mask. AUSA then says, what was a session in a freak off? She said, until the escort finished. So the escort had to come. Then they say, how many sessions with the first escort? She says, I could remember at least 2. So we're getting into it, chat. We're getting into it. All right. So if you notice the way that the AUSA is doing with Cassie, they're doing it really slow and deliberate. They started off, first of all, by talking about how she met Diddy, some of the control methods that he was supposedly using, talk about her career. They were talking about a lot of things building up to now this. By the way, if you ask me, this is 2:00 right now. Court's gonna dismiss around 5. I don't know if the AUSA is gonna finish their direct. So I don't think the defense is coming until tomorrow, right? I think they're gonna slowly, methodically, break down all of these encounters that she could remember, all of these details, and really evoke a passionate, probably tearful Cassie that's gonna recount how much Diddy supposedly forced her to do these freak-offs, and some of the probably gruesome details that I guarantee we're going to be reporting. They're going to ask whether you're in all of that, all right? So it's happening. Okay. Next up.
Which they good buddies, okay? They're gay. Who? Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled. They're all gay. DJ Khaled.
Okay. He says, how did you feel? So they're asking her how she felt after the freak off. She said, I was high, so I didn't feel much. I did feel dirty and confused, but he was happy with me. The AUSA says, why did you feel you couldn't say no? I didn't want to make him angry or upset after he had shared this part of himself with me. So it looks like Diddy must have said to her, like, after a year, to say, hey, listen, I love you. I got this little kink, all right? I don't want you to feel like I don't love you because of this kink, but my kink is I like other people fucking my chick. And it looks like Cassie felt like he was being open and honest. And after Diddy came out like that, which, by the way, as much as we've talked about this whole thing about Diddy being gay, we ain't hearing nothing about Diddy's kink supposedly being him wanting to get fucked in the ass. If anything, we've hearing that he got mad that the nigga, one of the porn stars or escorts, looked at him while he's fucking Cassie. So it looks like he comes out to her, comes clean to say, yo, A, B, C, and D. And Cassie feels obligated to not make him feel weird about what he came out about, right? She's trying to normalize it, and she's also trying to acquiesce. That's how she's putting it now, okay? How frequent did the freak-offs become? She said weekly for a consistent amount of years. She said, when was your last one? She said, 2017 or 2018. AUSA says, how long were you awake during the freak-offs? She said, I never slept. I took drugs, ecstasy, Molly, cocaine. Yeah, this is getting there, people. Has she done an interview since 2018? Have we seen her do an interview since 2018, chat? That would be very interesting to know. Have we seen Cassie do an interview since 2018? All right. Let's keep it going. By the way, we're just waiting for other tweets to come up. And I wonder, when she said she never slept during the entire time, and I'm pretty sure the defense attorneys are going to ask this, she said she never slept during the freak-offs at all. And she was staying up on ecstasy and coke. She had also admits that the longest freak-off was 4 days. Did she stay up for all 4 days? Now, granted, I don't know if she's just saying that, hey, for the most part, I never slept. But the defense is definitely going to come back around with, so you didn't sleep for 4 days. And if she admits that, oh, yeah, I did sleep a little bit, that might at least blow up that argument of her saying she never slept, just to kind of like ruin her credibility a little bit. But right now she's saying she never slept. She also admits she was high. She did admit to feeling dirty and confused. She says, I couldn't tell him no because I feel like I'd be making him upset after he shared this part of himself with me. How frequent were the freak-offs? Weekly? For a consistent amount of years. Wow. Now, to all my chat queens and chat niggas in the building. Like, I think everybody, when you're with a girl, right? And I think this is normal. Like, say you with your girl for a long time. Maybe now and then y'all might do like a threesome or something like that. Or you do something like maybe y'all go on vacation. You do something that maybe a little bit non-ordinary out of the sexual encounters you have with that person at that point. That's the thing. I thought these freak-offs weren't like that regular. I thought it was just like, yo, Diddy would get a big win in music and he wants to celebrate and he does a freak-off. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these, I know a couple of celebrities, when it comes time to, I know 2 celebrities in particular. They have annual orgies on New Year's Eve. Facts. And I be looking on their shit to be like, and I be looking on their story to see who they invited to their orgy. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Holy. I know. Facts. You feel what I'm saying? And by the way, chat, it is my job to collect all everybody's secrets. So I know it. Every New Year's Eve, they go on vacation and it's orgy. New Year's Eve. But they don't do these orgies every week. They don't do it every month. Well, from what I know. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I just know about those ones. So I guess with the Cassie thing, I'm like, that kind of helps her case and the AUSA case. Because at this point, if y'all are doing these, and I'm going to just call it non-standard or non-traditional sex acts or these freak-offs that kind of seem like events, pretty much it's almost like he turned Cassie into a sex worker. He's telling her to train for the freak-offs. Yeah, you'll go train for the freak-off this weekend. Yo, look at y'all motherfuckers, man. Y'all just saying all type of shit in the chat, man. Oh, boy. Yeah. So they were saying train for the freak-offs. Jesus Christ. And it was every week. Consistently for amount of years. Wow. So do you recall all the freak-offs? She said that would be impossible. Oh my God, how many was there? She said, did you want it to stop? I said, yes, I was humiliated. I didn't have those words then. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Oh, she's crying. Diddy, reserve the top bunk, nigga. Which is a good bunk, top or bottom? Pause. Oh, the crying starts. It is. Her belly's hanging over on the thing. She got a kid in the gut. You know, the baby in there like, mommy, I want to help you. No, I'm not trying to play around. Chill out. Motherfucker, she's crying on the stand. Diddy's looking gray as hell. You got to imagine, too. Cassie's looking probably beautiful. She's glowing, pregnancy glow. Diddy looks like a grayed up old pervert. Let's be honest. He don't got none of that just for men shit to keep his beard black. He's as gray as Santa Claus. The wrinkles start coming out, all type of shit. I imagine the jurors are hearing this. She's crying. They're looking at her. She looks beautiful. She's pregnant. And they look over to this nigga, and this nigga look old as father time. Gray, wrinkled up, looking nasty. And they're like, nah, this ain't right. Nah, this ain't right. Oh, yeah. Diddy? Oh, man. So now she says because that's going to be a thing. Did you ever say you want to stop doing the freak off? She says, I brought it up gently. I didn't want him to just do it with someone else. Ooh, interesting. So that's an angle I think some women could be able to, maybe identify with, right? She's saying, I didn't want to stop doing this thing that he liked because he would just go get another woman to do it. And we keep hearing this idea that, even Diddy's own attorneys were kind of use this angle to say these people were doing things to try to keep Diddy. It's not like Diddy was telling them to stay. They wanted to do whatever to stay with Diddy, not the other way around, because the benefits that they got from Diddy. But so she's kind of admitting it, but still admitting it in a sex trafficking way, where it's like, yeah, I kind of did it, but I just didn't want to get replaced. Like, I brought it up gently, but I didn't want to go too crazy on it because I just wasn't trying to get it replaced. He says, were you able to express your concerns to him? They say, objection, lead-in. Judge says, rephrase. Says, why would you talk to him gently? She says, I didn't want him to be angry. Yo, who in the chat said that? We don't need cable? He said, man, I need a Cassie, no bluffing. Well, what's wrong with you, man? Now, that's going to be very important. Keep in mind, I didn't want him to do it with someone else. Could be viewed many different ways. And this is what I keep telling you. This is all about, even when you got the Brian Steele, the Tenny Garagos, you have Xavier Donaldson, you have, of course, Mark Agnifilo. Obviously, you have AUSA Maureen Comey. You have AUSA Emily Johnson. It's all about how could you get those 12 jurors and the 6 alternates to see it your way? Because when I hear this, if we hear this on face value, we don't know nothing about Cassie. We don't see the video of her getting beaten and dragged. We know nothing. If you just reading 2 people text messages and she's like, I'm only doing this, or you see someone explain saying, I'm only doing this because I didn't want him to do it with another bitch. It sounds like, oh, okay, so you ain't want to get left. You want to do this shit. And by the way, I know relationships where women or even men do things because they don't want, like I've heard a girl say, I gave my man a threesome because I didn't want him to go fuck the bitch without me. Now, you ever had or heard a homegirl say that, or your homie tell you that's why his girl's agreeing to some shit? I don't know if that's sex trafficking. That seemed like you trying to keep your man. I don't know if that's sex trafficking. Now, granted, the thing with this Cassie case, or not Cassie, is the Diddy case, everything has to be in total, you have to look at it in an overall perspective. Because if you look at one thing, you might be like, man, you were just trying to keep the gravy train. You look at everything else, you're like, maybe. And we're going to see who is going to be able to testify to how the victim, there has to be some type of expert that comes in and testifies to how a victim of sex trafficking or some of those type of abuse, how they think and how they process things and what they do. Because to make this point, I would say, it sounds like you're doing this willingly, but in the cycle of abuse and victim mindset, she might not be, right? Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Hey, Memes, get me this that I can post on the gram, okay? Thank you. That's a really interesting point about this testimony. Why you ain't stop? Why you ain't tell me you want to stop? I ain't want him to go do it with another girl. Can we do a poll on that? I think this is a good place to really ask some questions. Now, we have to juxtapose both sides to this, right? Because she also says in the next sentence that, well, I didn't want him to be angry. So it kind of also gives this hint of she's fearful. But initially she says, I just didn't want him to do it with anyone else. Can I see a poll? Can I see a poll? Somebody start one on the Academy channel. Let me go to King Academics. We need a poll. We got to figure out this. What do you guys think about that? I want to post this on the gram too. I got to get, like, the gram be having the best. The gram be having the motherfucking best comments, especially my Instagram. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm just posting to the gram. Ooh, there's some more tweets too. Cassie admits she didn't want to bring up stop doing the freak off to Diddy out of fear he might do it with other women instead. Okay. All right. That was a good post. See how quickly I post? See how quickly I post? I bet. Okay. Memes. Keep sending it to me. All right. Let's